Hello and welcome to the Blue Monday podcast covering Ipswich Town since 2015. I'm Richard Woodward and you are tuned in to the Prematch Show, Burton Albion away edition, available every Friday on video, sometimes live, and audio. And and tonight I'm joined by my pre-match buddy, partner in crime. What should we call you? Seb Brown's here. Seb, evening to you. How are you?
I'm very well. Yourself?
Yeah, I'm all right. I've given that introduction about a million times this week. It's like Bill Murray Groundhog Day, and we've got the added fun of people in the comments. Hello to everyone who's watching live. Alex, we are live, and Mark Beck, it is live.
You've got to clip that up, surely. I know there might be copyrights with Sky Sports, but surely at some point you can get the Mine Tyler. Yeah, that'd be brilliant.
Evening to Gary from Northern Ireland. Good evening. So we want to hear from you. We want to make it nice and as interactive as possible. It's slightly different from the normal Q&A, and this is the first one of these that we've done live, so bear with us. This is like driving a battleship or something. There are so many buttons that I can press and mistakes I can make, so apologies in advance if I screw up. Hello to Anthony, hello to Michael, and it's Mark. He's actually watching one. Hello to Mark. Evening to you. Seb, I started to ask how you are. How are you? You can give an answer.
I'm good, thank you. I'm looking forward to the football tomorrow, and I'm finally going to be able to go to a game. I'm going to Cheltenham away on Tuesday night, so I'm very, very excited about that, assuming the tickets arrive. But no, very much looking forward to that, and yeah, getting better after my bout of COVID. Thank you.
Yeah, and do we need to do another health warning even to Martin? You're quite out of breath a lot, aren't you? It's
I am, yeah. It looks like I have picked up long COVID, which apparently is a thing. So from a health point of view, from both myself and yourself, I guess we're going to advise people: please wear your masks, sanitize your hands, and get your jabs.
And again, if you need to cough or if you need to kind of take a breath, we'll do our best to manage that. Yep.
Yeah, so, I've got pretty good with the mute button, so I've got it down to a fine art. So hopefully we should be okay.
Yeah, no one noticed last week, and we're just drawing attention to it now, aren't we? Let's jump straight into the news, shall we? Because we've got a few bits and pieces to talk about. So here's one of these bumper thingies. There you go. So we're not going to drill too much into this because we've got a flagship show. Guess who's hosting the flagship show, Seb?
Is it your 79th appearance in a row?
Yeah, it's my consecutive.
You're going to get to Matty Holland levels of appearances soon.
I don't know, at some point. So if you don't like me, you're having a real whale of a time at the moment. So we'll do some of the news. We'll kind of drill into bits and pieces, but we'll leave some bits and pieces for. I'm hoping it's Dave and Joe on Sunday, so that might help advertise the flagship show. I guess the main story, and interesting to get some views on this. My immediate reaction as the Flynn Downs transfer saga started to I just seen Stubbsy.
The Richard Woodward football channel.
Everyone's going to unsubscribe. Evening to you, and get well soon, Seb. Thanks.
Thank you.
Brian's in San Francisco as well. Hello for San Francisco.
Nice.
Is any fee with 7 figures in it for me for this deal is good going. It's one of these talking about Football Room 101 undisclosed fees. That will come back. But 1 million quid. EADT reporting 1.5, potentially up to 2. If it is that, pretty good going, isn't it?
Phenomenal business, I think. Ashton, take a bow. We were talking, weren't we? Was it the last week's show? We were saying, if he's still around at the end of the month, end of the window, are we just going to take 500 grand, 750 grand just to move him on? So that's a really, really good bit of business and a really good move for him as well. He deserves it. He's a quality player. He's gone to a side that finished in the playoffs last year. That's probably going to be challenging this year. Got themselves a new manager who loves a possession-based style of football. And we know that Flynn Downs is good with the ball. You know, a lot of people might see him just as a tough tackler and a midfield enforcer, but he can play. He's got some real quality. So, no, I think it's a really good move for him and really good business for us, because we've basically got the same fee we got a year ago, despite him having a poor season, a couple of nasty injuries, and being a year further down the line of his contract. So, good business all round for him and for us, I think. And obviously, you would assume there's a nice hefty sell on, so we are protected as well in the future. If he does well and ends up going to the Premier League, which I think he probably will do one day, hopefully we can have some more incoming later on down the line.
Yeah, John, agreeing you there about putting strings for sell on and games played and so on. I think Mark Ashton, as a Q&A, mentioned that very specifically. So, what's your thoughts on him being number 4?
I think it shows the faith, I guess. I know I mentioned squad numbers last week. Yeah. Squad numbers in this day and age don't really mean much, but I think it's maybe it's a bit of a faith showing from Russell Martin. You know, he sees him as that midfield kind of sitter, you know, the deeper player. And I think he'll play a lot of games. I really do. I'm assuming he's fit. He was playing for the under-23s, wasn't he, in the pre-season games? So I could easily see him doing, you know, 35, 40 games a season.
Yep. I need to pause very quickly. Simon, thank you so much for the super chat. Really appreciate that. Thank you for all the contributions that just support the channel, that mean that this kind of platform works, and that we can do more of the kind of long play stuff as well. So Simon, thank you so much. And also Stubbsy as well. Thank you. I promised this a while back. Thank you so much, Stubbsy. Really appreciate that. Thank you, everyone. You can do that if you're watching through YouTube on the super chat. But we appreciate any support for the channel, and thank you for those of you who choose to donate. It means the world, and it means, as I said, we can hopefully do even better stuff. But I can't promise that it allows us to afford better hosts. But you know, I
was going to say we could pay to get a new host in on that.
Yeah, or I could get some training how to do it. Evening to Chris. If you don't follow Chris on Twitter, make sure you do. I think he's running the London Marathon this year for an amazing charity. You can read all about it on his Twitter. Evening to Chris. Number 4 should always be a midfielder. So I stand corrected there. Ryan, unbelievable business that we get lucky to get. Yeah, exactly.
Agreed.
Right, Ryan.
Yeah, exactly.
So
right.
I think we said exactly the same. Simon, back to you. Best of luck. I think he will flourish. Yeah, I think it's probably. Clearly a talented footballer, isn't he? So just needs the right place.
He'll do well, yeah. I think in 2 or 3 years' time we could well be looking at him in a Premier League. So there's a train of thought. He's a West Ham fan, isn't he? I guess so. Potentially, you know, that kind of level of club, maybe in the Premier League, a sort of, you know, a mid-table Premier League side could be ideal for him.
Yeah, and I agree, Gary, that he's going to be missed. And your suggestion, Seb, is he's going to do the kind of zigzag where he goes over to Swansea then back to West Ham at some point.
Potentially, yeah. I mean, it's a shame he has left. You know, we know what a quality player he is, and it's a bit of a shame he has moved on in the way it's happened. But wish him all the best.
We've got a couple of questions about transfers as well. I think Graham asked us a question. I just need to pause very quickly. John, thank you so much, guys. This is amazing.
This is phenomenal. Thank you so much.
Thank you, John. And always and really glad that this is a distraction from real life. We try not to mention that C word and the other one, frankly, as well, as much as we can, and just focus on the football. So really glad that folk are enjoying it, and yeah, thank you so much, John, and Chris as well. I hope you don't feel.
Wow.
Yeah, thank you, Chris. Really appreciate that. And please, as I said, go and find Chris. Can you put in the chat what your Twitter account is, and I'll direct people to support you for the marathon. And I think probably we need to go back and repay the faith that you showed in us. So thank you so much for that, everyone. Let's keep talking football, Seb. And also thank you to Deb, who's watching on Facebook. Hello to Facebook, as always. The forgotten part of the stream, because everyone usually accesses it via Twitter, but Facebook, I've got secret love for everyone on Facebook. So hello to Deb and everyone on Facebook. So Graham has asked us, you've got the question from Graham, haven't you, from earlier in the week. Marcus has asked us about this as well. Marcus, I wish it was Marcus Stewart Gray. Where do you want to see the gaps? Who to fill the gaps, centre back and centre midfield? I mean, should we just focus on the centre midfield at the moment, because the Joe Morrell deal didn't happen, pantomime there. Yeah. But is that the kind of midfield? I think that's Graham's question. The type of midfield.
Yeah, Yeah, Graham's asked, can we briefly cover what type of player we would want to have a backup centre midfield? For me, a Morel type player would not want to be a backup. So I think we're in a bit of a pickle for a central midfielder. And that's a great point. Morel is going to want to play week in, week out. And I think it's fairly clear that Evans is going to be a guaranteed starter. I know he's not officially the captain yet, but he is the captain on the pitch as it stands at the moment. And if he's fit, I think he'll play 46 games because he is Cook's trusted captain, trusted lieutenant on the pitch. Harper alongside him, I thought looked really, really good against Morecambe. I appreciate I wasn't there. I've only seen the highlights, but I really like the way he was knocking the ball around and the intensity of his passing. So whoever comes in is going to have a bit of a job looking to get past those two. So I don't think we'll be looking at a Morel type first team kind of player dropping down from the Championship. We have been linked today with somebody from Accrington. Forgive me, I can't remember his name, but that might well be. There you go, Matt Butcher. Yeah, that might well be the kind of player that we have to bring in. Somebody who kind of accepts that they want to be part of the project, they want to move to a bigger club, but they are only going to be playing 15, 20 games and the cup games per season. That's the kind of thing I think we're going to have to accept. And I guess what will that also mean for John Nolan? I appreciate he's got injury issues, but this is the third season, I think, in a row where he's broken down around about March, February time. So, he's in the last year of his contract. Is he just going to become a bit part player? In theory, he should be. Yeah, I mean, in theory, he should be what Cook kind of wants in a central midfielder because he's very, very fit. He can run all day. He has got an eye for a goal and he can get about the pitch, but his fitness is really letting him down. And if that carries on, then we've seen with the new regime and with Cook, he's just going to move people on and look to bring in people he can trust.
I know there's Chris's Twitter, by the way, if you want to go and support him for the London Marathon. I'm sure there's a pinned tweet that you can find. I know that a lot of people in the club really like Humphreys, who's obviously had a good spell in pre-season, featured quite a bit.
But is he not a natural left-sided player, isn't he?
I mean, we're looking for a backup though, aren't we? Because we're not, it's Harper and Evans, as you said. So these are, as long as those guys stay fit, this backup is not really going to be needed unless it's in the cup. So, get Nolan fit, and do we need to? I don't know.
If you've got Nolan, if you've got Nolan, don't forget El Mazzuni. Obviously, had a good game apparently the other night. A very technically good player. We've seen him in the past play further up the field in the sort of the number 10, but he might be able to do okay there as well. And if you've got Nolan completely fit, El Mazzuni and Humphreys as your squad players, then potentially you might not need one. But that's a risk given Nolan's injury history, I would say.
Alex has it's got a good memory. Butcher looked good against us last year, to be fair. Nothing fancy, looked off the ball well. I think that, and
that's what you need from that role, isn't it? That role is simply look after the ball and ping it out to the fullbacks and the forward players.
Any technical issues, by the way? Can you everyone hear me okay? Someone says, Rich, you've gone quiet, but I don't know if that's just because I've gone quiet or something else, but we will power through. It looks all good from my end. We'll come back. We've got a few bits and pieces about centre backs. We've got some bits and pieces about Burton, so we'll come back to that. I did want to briefly mention ITFC Women, who continue to do great things. Got 2 more pro deals sorted, Blue Wilson and striker Natasha Thomas, who's really well thought of. I think turned down a move to a higher league a few years ago, and Blue's now captain there as well. So fantastic news coming out of the women's team. And also, it's their first league game of the season away at Hounslow coming up as well. So we wish them all the very best. Interesting. Oh, that's better, John. Thank you. Apologies if I cut out. Another interesting thing that happened today, MK Dons appointed ex-Ipswich Academy player and Academy coach is plural, Liam Manning and Chris Hogg. I see Joe's in the chat. Interesting to get Joe's thoughts on those two, but it's always weird when people who are behind the scenes at Ipswich leave, because Chris Hogg, I think, was well thought of, went to Newcastle, didn't he? Newcastle under 23s, and has now joined Liam Manning, who has had a really interesting kind of post-playing career. Was at New York City in the MLS and joined the City Group, and was coaching in Belgium, I believe, and resigned to come and work for MK.
He had some time at West Ham as well, I think, didn't he? He was the youth coach with us, and he went to West Ham for a bit as well. So he's done his education.
Journey, yeah. Your thoughts on seeing, because MK Dons obviously are a divisional rival / peer, aren't they? Always interesting seeing people come back who leave Ipswich, come back and end up kind of at a similar level, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, Chris Hogg, I'm sure at one point he stepped up to be involved in the first team. It might have been towards the end of the first year back down, was it? Maybe I can't remember the exact timescales of it.
19, yeah, you're
Yeah,
right.
he stepped up and became involved, and then obviously, a big club like Newcastle offer you the under 23 manager position. You're gonna take it because that is a natural career progression and a natural step up. But no, it's a very interesting move. Liam Manning's gone away and really sought to go and learn the game, a bit like sort of I think Craig Bellamy's done similar, and he's gone abroad, and Kieran Dyer's looked to do it in the past. So anyone that goes abroad to America and then to Europe to learn new things is going to do well, I think, and I think they'll do well as a duo there, and yeah, it continues that trend of coaches leaving us to join MK Dons. Obviously, Matt Gill went there for 2 months, and now he's at a championship club. So if they do well, who knows what we'll bring after that? But I think they'll do well, and good luck to them both.
Yep, I think my audio is a bit glitchy, by the way, so I'm trying to fix that, and hopefully that will get sorted. But yeah, I agree. As long as they don't do well against us, and to be fair, it's quite a lot of time has elapsed. It's not as if they've got insider knowledge anymore about what we're up to.
None of us have. It was a brand new side, isn't it? None of us know what's going on.
And final, I guess this is a final bit of news, really, but this is leads quite nicely on to what we're talking about next. Oh, notice to be louder, Rich. There you go. Is that too loud? Oh, I'm adjusting this in real time. This is great. The landlord of the Weybridge Inn, I think it is, in Burton, is an Ipswich fan and is looking for people who are going tomorrow to go in and say hi and turn the blood blue and white. So I thought we'd do a little plug for that. All the details, I think, on TWTD. So let's move things on, shall we, and start. Let's talk about Burton as he pads. Bumper. There we go. So what can you tell us about Burton, Seb? What do you want to tell us about Burton?
Well, obviously, we've got a good record against Burton. We've played them 8 times in competitive fixtures, won 7 and drawn 1. So we have got a very, very good record. But what interested me most was the record since Hasselbank went back there. So Hasselbank, obviously, last year they are 8 points adrift at the bottom of the league. Hasselbank goes back on the 1st of January. He sits the first game out and watches it in the stands. And then they go on this absolutely phenomenal run. He picks up, I've made a note of it here somewhere, and I'm being professional because I've got it here somewhere. He wins 13 out of 24 games, and they absolutely fly up the league. I mean, there was talk one point of them gate crashing the playoffs. They were on that good a run of form. There's a 6-game winning spell in February and March of last season, and they went on an absolutely hell of a run and finished really, really comfortably. Striker up front, Kane Hemmings became a bit of a goal machine. Danny Rowe, they obviously bought in, and we know him, and he's still there this year. He got another deal this year, so I think this might be a bit of a tough game. I know we've got a very good record against them, but I can see this being a bit of a tough game, to be honest with you. They play similar to us. It's a 4-2-3-1. Fullbacks looking to bomb on, but they appear to be a bit more direct. I think they're not like a really pragmatic side. They don't just hoof it up to the striker, but I think they look to get the ball forward quickly and then get players up in support as the striker sort of holds on to it. So yeah, like Stubbsy says there, I think this is going to be a tough game, despite our really, really good record against them.
Yeah, I've got my bits and pieces from like I did last week.
Have you got your graphics with your miles?
Yeah, let's see if I screw this up as well. Buffering. Please work. There we go. So here's some facts. For the uninitiated, the Brewers playing the Pirelli Stadium for the second week running, a stadium capacity where under 7,000 and where a sizable majority of the seats are not seats. It's standing. The rivals, it depends where you read. I mean, I think there's a bit of Cole U Ipswich-ism here that I think maybe Burton think about Derby the way that Cole U think about Ipswich, but I don't think it's reciprocated. So I've kind of gone with Notts County, Chesterfield. I think Walsall's in there as well from some playoffs. As you mentioned, Seb, 2021, when Hasselbank came in, they were rock bottom. When I say rock bottom, they were, I think it was
8 points adrift, and they had played 2 games more than, I think Wimbledon were 20th, so they were 8 points adrift, and they played 2 games more. They were gone.
And 9 goals worse as well than the team in the, is it 5th from bottom, who were safe as well. So a real massive turnaround. Oh, here we go.
Oh, geography. Oh.
So Yeah, tell me is it too far west or too far
It's
east?
too far up, isn't it? I think, isn't it too far north?
No, look on Google. I had Google Maps up, and I mean, this isn't scientific. Let's be honest. It is me playing around with an image file, but I'm happy to be corrected, obviously. And last time out, I've ignored Stavsey. No, you're fine. All complaints, all feedback welcome. Last time out in the league, Ben talks quite a lot about positive and negative momentum, and I think John Ipswich, go a little bit up, like your volume. Burton have had that momentum and an early win, albeit at Shrewsbury, but away. And I'd taken a note here that the majority of their points actually last season, you kind of think that Burton would make the Pirelli a bit of a fortress. Actually,
no, it's away, isn't it? Yeah.
The majority of their points, not by much, but the majority were picked up away from home. So an away win to get things off and running is will have given them confidence, won't it? Oh, it's gone now. Where's my blooming video gone? Let's do it again. Again, a team with massive amount of turnaround, 12 in, 12 out, and I've kind of I made this little graphic before I realised that Lewis Moult is out for 5 months. He picked up a freak injury in a kind of pre-season friendly, and he is out for 5 months. So, and I kind of picked him up because I think Burton had kind of lacked a kind of physical presence. The goals was largely scored by a guy called Kane Hemmings. Last season, who to be fair to him, it was like something like 1 in 2. I think.
Yeah, since when Hasselback came in, he did really, really well. And they've got Adkins as well, haven't they?
Aikens, yeah.
Aikens, sorry, yeah.
And so I'd kind of earmarked a striker for them as being important. I also like Connor Shaughnessy. Those of you who were quite who quite admired the way that Rochdale went about playing us last season. Shaughnessy, centre back / right back. I think can play in defensive midfield if he needs to as well. I thought was quite a useful signing for them, and he's played all of the games so far. And some important departures in there as well. Not like Morecambe last week, who lost their player of the season, their kind of MVP, to borrow kind of an American parlance. But they certainly, I think, missed the experience of Stephen Quinn in midfield. That being said, the captain's John Brayford, isn't it? And he's got plenty of experience in his locker there as well. So
they lost Ryan Edwards as well, didn't they? I think he was quite a big player for them. He went back to he's Australian. He went back to somewhere near Australia, forgive me, somewhere in Asia, I think he went to, and he was quite a big player for them as well.
Yeah, I mean, this is the kind of point from Alex that we're kind of debating, isn't it, about how our defence is going to deal with the directness. He's going to be a big test for Wolf and whoever partners him. It will
be Danassian, surely. When I guess it'll be Danassian alongside Wolfenden, simply because the only other choice is Ndaba, unless you look to drop Evans back there, but then you haven't got somebody to come into central midfield. So surely it'll be Vincent Young at right back, Danassian and Wolfenden in the middle, and Penny, I assume, again on the left, given that Coulson might not quite be ready.
I'm enjoying Graham's. Nobody enjoyed Rochdale away.
Very true.
I think that I guess my point was you can only just admire what Rochdale were doing rather than just how bad we were. But I will move us on from Rochdale. Graham, fair play. Gary, quick goal, do us the word of good. Yeah, is that what you're thinking?
It would do, yeah. I mean, I think didn't Joe say on the Q&A on Wednesday night? He said, he doesn't want to see a side score against us early on, and I think that's very, very true, especially with the kind of players they've got. If they're going to go more direct, if we concede early, then we might struggle to look to get back into the game. And obviously they've got Danny Rowe as well, who we know, albeit doesn't necessarily deliver in terms of goals and assists, but to me he was always a positive player who would look to try and do positive things and make positive things happen. So I don't know if he'll start. I think he came on in the first game of the season. I'm not sure if he started in the cup midweek, but again, that's another threat there with somebody with a little bit of pace sort of running at you.
Yeah. People asking about Edmondson and Coulson. I think Coulson went straight into training, and Edmondson we don't really know about. Joe is kind of
came out and said Coulson had COVID, didn't he? He's had COVID, Coulson.
Has he?
Yeah, Cook said that on the pre-match this morning. So I think he said he is training, but he's coming off a bout of COVID. So I guess that might explain why he's absent. And Edmondson presumably is still just training and looking to get his pre-season going, really.
And Joe saying it looks like we've taken a few of those who impressed on Tuesday, which presumably be the younger players. So Dobre, Mazzuni, Humphreys, and Clements.
Yeah.
So, Cornish Mariner, evening to you. Evans and Harper will need to be disciplined and confident. They will be. Yeah, I mean, the midfield two that I picked up from last week was Deji Oshilaja and Thomas O'Connor. And it was Aikens leading the line. And then I think for Oxford, they rotated around. Aikens, I looked at his heat map and he was very much on the left-hand side, which means that the number 10 needs to step up. And they had a guy who, I forgot his name on loan, Maddox, I think it was. He's on loan from a team in Portugal. And I think he went off for 36 minutes, which I think Burton have got all kinds of injuries and are struggling there. And it was Thomas O'Connor, who, to be fair, I think had a decent enough season last time out, who came in at number 10 and made a contribution. But similar to us, it does feel like if the front man isn't getting a huge amount of service, that the number 10 needs to step up. Who would you, we're going to have to talk about Ipswich a little bit here as well. Who would you be playing that number 10? And, we've got the debate about Fraser
and Chaplin. Yeah.
Chaplin.
I mean, I think the side will pretty much be the same one that ended the game against Morecambe with Dynasty in at centre-back for Enciala. Piggott, I think, will lead the line, and I think he'll start again with Fraser slightly on the left, although he seemed to be playing a bit more tucked in, didn't he, against Morecambe, and Chaplin in the number 10 role. And again, I guess they will just look to swap throughout the throughout the match. It's a bit frustrating that, we have signed one of the best number 10s, obviously an ex-Burton player in Fraser in the league, and we're sort of, doing that thing we do sometimes where we kind of just try and fit the best players in and not necessarily play them in their best positions. I'd like to see him in the number 10, or certainly make a real throughout the match look to swap with Chaplin and support Piggott. But I think it'll be the same three behind Piggott. You'll have Burns on the right, Chaplin in the number 10, and Fraser on the left, and hopefully him and Chaplin will dovetail and look to change up throughout the game.
Yeah, I do wonder whether maybe it's the kind of Premier League loanee conspiracy theory that Barry might feature sooner rather than later out of compulsion for the deal that was struck for the loan, because I can't imagine Villa want him to sit on our bench.
No, maybe you're right. I mean, you might get away with it at the start of the season because he might be a bit behind in terms of training and fitness. But yeah, it's a good shout. At some point, Villa are going to start to say, we've given him 2 years. He's a hell of a prospect. You're meant to be training him up, but he's only played 5 games, and I guess he will then come in on either the number 10 or the wide left position. Yeah, or he can play up front as well if need be, can't he? But I think so, but yeah. He's better in one of those 3 behind the striker position. And
just to confirm what Stubbs is saying, yeah, Toto and Norwood both out.
Yeah, no news yet, is there, on they said a hamstring issue for them, but they've given no kind of updates or timescales. I mean, if it's a hamstring, I guess if Toto has strained it, then you're going to be looking at 6-8 weeks. And obviously Norwood, we don't know how bad that one was yet. So unfortunately, they won't be here for the foreseeable. So Ashton's going to have to go out and get a centre back.
Yep. Even evening to Eric Clacton, one of my favourite usernames, and always positive in the comments as well, which I love. They could be quite weary after Wednesday. Yeah, we need to mention they went to penalties, unlike us in the Carabao Cup, but it was a 96th minute own goal equaliser that got them to penalties, wasn't it? I think. So they had a tough one on Wednesday or Tuesday against Oxford. And John Nuffy, merging it together. It's just about a time before Ipswich click, but far better going forward. Much, yeah, and
agree.
As always, I shouldn't read too much into Twitter because I'll always find an opinion contrary to what other people. And there's always debates going on, which is why we love doing this kind of stuff. Is that it's all? I was about to say that phrase. I'm not going to say that, but it's the kind of there's no facts about our certain situations. We all see the game in a different way, and we don't all have to agree with each other, but it did feel like there was positivity around a defeat, which is good. And I don't think it was just because of the relentless optimism about the game changer and the takeover and all the change and all the signings. I think it was because on another day, one of those chances
we win
against
3, yeah. On another day, we score. We had that many chances. We win that game comfortably, sort of 3-1, 4-1. It's a very, very different game, isn't it? It was just one of those nights, wasn't it? I was following it on Twitter, and I think was it one where Dobra shoots straight at the keeper, and then somehow they managed to scramble the header from Jackson off the line. At that point, you just think it's not going to happen tonight, which is a shame because obviously it's a good chance to get some minutes in the legs of some of the players who are a bit behind, and obviously more the young players. It's a great opportunity for them. So it is a shame to be out, but But the league is the bread and butter, and like John Offey just said, as soon as once we click and it really starts to go, it could be really, really good.
That's the hope, isn't it? And Mark's point, I love kind of crowdsourcing these bits and pieces of information. It all helps to educate us for tomorrow. One change from their team, and obviously a few changes made from us, and again, that's going to help us with the fitness, as to Eric's point about weariness and so on. So that's clearly a good thing there. Any other bits and pieces that you want to mention? I've got a few names that I've written down here that we haven't mentioned yet. I guess a big name signing at one point or another. What I do need to say before I forget is the Newport game on Tuesday is if ever you wanted to see a real life representation of those really annoying games on Football Manager, when you absolutely batter a team and lose 1-0, that seems to be it to me. I just want to mention that. One of the deals, that one of their 12 deals in the summer that caught the eye for me at least was Cameron Borthwick Jackson, who signed from, he had been at Man United,
United, isn't he? Yeah,
played got some Premier League minutes, I believe, ended up at Oldham, had a few other loan spells, but left on a free to Oldham and assigned for them. I'm not sure he's featured yet from the start. I think he came off the bench. I think he might have played him in the left wing position, perhaps after they'd taken the lead at Shrewsbury to shut up shop. Yeah.
They've also got Michael Mansian, haven't they? The ex-Chelsea. He went out to Germany, I think Hamburg, and then went to Forest. I believe he's there as well. So that's a decent bit of experience at centre-back. I mean, he must be early 30s, 31, 32 maybe by now.
Wide that one.
But yeah, I'm sure he's there. I'm sure
looking. There you go.
The research I was doing when I was meant to be working earlier on today in the office. He's ex-Chelsea, ex-Germany, ex-Nottingham Forest. He brings an awful lot of experience to the table with him. And
he's 33.
Right, so 33, yeah.
Yeah, a good signing there. Anyone else we've talked about?
We were linked, weren't we, with I'll let you pronounce the centre back who was AFC Wimbledon.
Oshalaja, yeah.
Yeah, he was a centre back at the time. We were linked to him about 3 years ago under Hurst, when we were sort of, flirting with Curtis Tilt, and Blackpool kept changing their mind. And I think in the end we abandoned them both and went and got Pennington. So a very, very slight Ipswich link there. And
is there a Seb's fact of the week, by the way? Have you forgotten to do that?
Not going to lie, I've completely forgotten to do it.
You could have saved that up, Anyway,
sorry.
I want to hear everyone's predictions, by the way, in the chat. So go straight away for your predictions or your team lineups. Want to hear all of those suggestions. Seb, we'll do our usual predictions. I think we both predicted. I remember the what's the word I'm looking for? There was some snarkiness when I predicted a 1-1 draw. Sorry, not a 1-1 draw. I wish I predicted a 1-1 draw. Bloody hell.
You said 1-0 thing,
just a 1-0, yeah, and I was kind of accused of not being optimistic enough. But I think we spoke a lot about Morecambe and the way they play, and saw a lot of that. And I'm going to blow my own trumpet because no one else will, about Cole Stockton. We talked about that. So I'm going to pinpoint Brayford for tomorrow, but I'm also going to pinpoint Thomas O'Connor. I think the number 10. I think he's the man. Joe Powell. Sorry, Joe Powell. The name.
Okay.
To look out for. But I'm
the West Ham guy.
I'm going to predict a 1-1 draw.
Oh, that's what I was going to go 1-1 as well. I don't think it'll be that easy. We've got a very good record against them, like I've said, but I think a 1-1 is about right as well. And look to get our first 3 points of the season on Tuesday night against Cheltenham. I mean, we went there, didn't we? First game back. In the league. Luke Garbutt scored early, and then Wolfenden puts one off the line in the last minute. So we hung on a little bit there, but I think 1-1 as well, just to be boring, I'm afraid, and agree with you.
Yeah,
which means we'll win now because I'm not very good at predictions. So
who's going to score first?
That'll be a 2-1. I think they'll score first. Okay, I just think our defence at the moment is a bit rickety, isn't it? It's makeshift at the moment.
And I wouldn't be surprised if it's a goal from a set piece from them. Purely because I think their best options in the attacking positions are injured at the moment. So Aikens maybe, but don't be surprised if it's a set piece. Here come the predictions, and you don't need to qualify any of them. 2-2 from John. Sebastian's a 2-1. Another 2-1 from Anthony. Stubbsy. Don't worry about the pessimism, realism. That's fine. And we all love to be wrong when it comes to predicting Ipswich to do crap and then they do well. So I'm always in that kind of glass half empty kind of vibe. I always don't want to predict too much optimism, because then I raise my expectations and then I end up being disappointed. But David's going for it. I love this, David. Bring the optimism. He's got a 2-0 and Bond back in the goals, and Fraser as well. Cornish Mariner. We love a late winner. 2-1 Town with a late winner.
Selena style with the free kick, like about 4 years ago, was it?
Shall we pick the team for you? Another 2-1.
The more you sing, the less likely he is to come on.
I'm not going to bring it. I'm not going to bring him on. I miss those days. No, I don't. Andrew Sams 3-1. Pigott double.
Great.
A lot of love out there for Pigott. So we talked about this on the pods so far. I really like the look of Pigott. If we can get someone around him like Barry, I would suggest. Then I think there will be goals there. 3-2 from Alex.
That'd be exciting, wouldn't it?
2-0 Town. Notorious PIG. Feed the pig and he will score. And Fraser's scoring his return. It's all good, baby.
A lot of positivity. It's great, isn't it? I mean, compared to what we sat through sometimes last year on these live shows after our 7th consecutive 0-0 or whatever, to see all the optimism's great, isn't it?
Yeah. Michael, 2-1 down. Some behind the sofa moments at the end. Yeah. Oh God, I've missed those. 4-2. Good old Statman scoreline. 4-2. Gonna love that. 2-0 from Eric. David's bringing back the positive. Keep the faith, chaps. Bonus-fired. Kissing the badge. We love to see that.
His interview was brilliant, wasn't it? Have you watched? Oh, you mentioned it. Sorry, you mentioned it. Yeah, on the flagship. That was a brilliant interview.
Did you? You've lived away like I did for quite a while.
I could still pick it all up.
Yeah,
you never lose it. Yeah,
never lose it. John, our system will always let in a goal, but we have fight and we look fit plus do make chances. Yeah, and I think there's going to be, until that centre back comes in, whoever that may be, it's got to be a case of we'll score one more than the Joe Royal.
The Joe Royal, the Joe Royal approach, won't it?
Alex,
as we said before as well this year, if we are struggling, then look at the bench. We can finally bring on, tomorrow there could be Dobra, Bon, Barry, Edwards. We're not spoken about Carl Edwards yet on the bench. The options that we could have to bring on could really change the game.
Yep, a lot of people saying similar stuff about good going forwards. I mean, that was certainly the feeling last week. Morecambe got a couple of sights and scored twice. I think I forget who it was. Apologies, I didn't put your quote up. See if I can find it. Jury for me is still out a little bit on Ladke.
What is it with you and Czech goalkeepers?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt because it's still early days. But there wasn't a huge amount of chat going on. And also something that I love is when the goalkeeper comes to the north stand and gives it the big one. We always had, the Martin Phillips, salutes. And even when Bart was doing his pre-match prayer, there wasn't a huge amount of, he looked a little bit nervous, perhaps. Maybe that's.
But it is, he's come up a league. He's come to a big stadium. You've got the roar of the North Stand, the atmosphere on Saturday. He's probably never heard or played in that kind of atmosphere before. And obviously he's got brand new players in front of him, and secondly, it's a bit of a patch up at the moment, isn't it? I know what you're saying. You want your goalkeeper to be really commanding, and you want to hear him scream throughout the match at the centre backs. But I think he'll come good. He was at fault, I think, for the was it the second goal? He goes down. The one where Danasi nearly clawed it away. I think he went down quite early and quite quickly and committed himself. But no, I think he'll come good. He's just your scapegoat this year, isn't he?
I'm just being picky, is all. Simon, 1-0 Pigott to score. Yeah, what we don't want, Simon, is a 1-0 after 2 minutes, and then 88 minutes of behind the sofa, to use to Michael's phrase. There we go. John Huffy stubs. I think there'll be goals. We clip the defence still. Thomas Holy. Mark's bringing us slightly different a tangent here very quickly. Have you seen the new Blue Action billboards? Yeah. Can you get Liam Muff on? I think is Liam Muff. I think he's Swiss based. I definitely, someone has researched this. If you know Liam Muff, then let him. I'm not sure there's a pod in it, Mark, but I think we all want to shake his hand, having sponsored John Walk. Pretty certain it was John Walk. Was it Eddie Youds maybe at some point? Give us the other names. Who does Liam Muff sponsor at the moment as well? I need to stop saying Muff. It's only 20 minutes to 9. We need to pre-watershed. Let's any more thoughts on Burton, Sebastian, before
No,
I
like I
lose
say,
the plot?
I think it'll be a bit of a tough game. So a 1-1 will be a decent point there, given the the momentum they've had since Hasselbank came in. They got off to a good start last week. We're still finding our feet at the moment. You know, a lot of this is about minutes and getting fitness minutes into the legs and fitness for our team. So a solid point there, and we can look to really build against Cheltenham and MK Dons.
Good. And next week, Seb's fact. We want.
Okay.
I speak
For
on
MK
behalf
Dons.
of all of us
Okay.
when we want Seb's fact to return.
Right.
Excellent stuff. So that is the end of Burton. We've predicted 1-1s, and the people have spoken. The majority of wins. Good for them. Don't listen to us. We're not to be trusted. So fingers crossed on that. And obviously, I think if we score first, we will win. And as John says, see you in the Weybridge Inn. And Mark, it's a good point. I offered it, and
Do I get my own klaxon?
What would have been good is if I'd made it
and I hadn't got one.
You hadn't done it, and then I'd have played it anyway, and then I'd have got
sat here awkwardly for.
We'd have sit for 30 seconds in the gap in silence. Skip. None of the goals we've considered come from the air. True. Yep. I'm being pedantic. I'm splitting hairs. Let's move on to our new feature. Notice the slight adjustment that I've made to the graphics, Seb. 1-0.
I did text you, didn't I? I think about, was it 5 minutes afterwards when I was winning with the vote? I did text you saying stop the count.
Stop the count.
I think I was slightly ahead. So no, fair play. That's 1-0 to you. And well, are you going to do it for the whole season? I assume. So by the end of the season, we'll be like
keep the track.
30-16 or something.
Yeah, you wish. Liam Muff's fronting Joe Piggott according to Scottish Mariner. There you go. He always goes for, he probably gets first pick, do you reckon? Cornish.
Surely he's got special privileges.
The club say
hot phone. There's like a red phone on his desk, and he can ring it like the bat phone. And I want Piggott this year.
Yeah, definitely. I'm just don't get stuck in a corner thinking about Leo Muff. Moving on. I need to play the intro again for Football Room 101. Last week, you voted between the 3 p.m. broadcast blackout and stupid squad numbers, and the overwhelming victor, no, not quite, was a 3 p.m. blackout. So thank you for everyone who voted for that. We will do the vote here tonight. All of you watching, all of you good people, we want your opinions on the positions that Seb and I are going to set out. Our two votes for going in the Football Room 101. If you're not clued up, if you didn't follow us last week, these are two bits about watching football, watching Ipswich Town that just grind our gears. We want to expel them to the basement, a dark, dank basement. And yes, Mark, that was an Embrace reference. Thank you very much. Stop the steal. Vote fraud. Alex, come on. I would never dream to do that.
I did win. Frankly, I did win that election.
So you can all watch this happening. This is transparent. There's nothing up my sleeves. But Seb, I will let you go first, like you did last week when you lost. And you can put your point to the crowd.
So mine this week, it's topical. We had squad numbers last week, but obviously we were a bit behind with the squad numbers being released. So mine this week is going to be paper tickets. I don't understand why in 2021 we still have to wait for, we order our tickets online via SeatGeek, audit process. We order our
That's
seats.
That's why you need paper tickets, the audit process.
We order our tickets online. Why do we then have to wait for them to be posted out to us? Why in this day and age can't I go? If I go to the cinema on my phone, I open up the app, I book my ticket, I pay for it through the phone, I get an email with a confirmation ticket, I add the ticket to my passbook or wallet feature, I walk in there and some guy scans it for me. I don't understand why it still has to be in 2021 that we have to wait for tickets to be posted out, which caused, there've been issues in the last, the season tickets and the last home games and the Burton game. Why can we not just have an option, either print at home straight away via an email or send straight to your phone? When we did the deal with SeatGeek, I was looking back at it. It was April 2020. So I totally appreciate that there were only 2 games, I think, where crowds could actually go back to football and use the SeatGeek experience. But there was a big feature of it at the time was saying about it's going to revolutionize the mobile experience And Ashton at the time, Ashton when he came in said, I want to improve the experience for match day goers. So for me, get rid of paper tickets, have a print at home option. If you want to have it printed out, no problem. If you want to have it he's going to go and find something now like the Wembley ticket, isn't he? Is it Wembley that you found, the Wembley ticket, or the playoff semi-final ticket? What have you found? Okay, but
to Milan. There you go.
Time moves
Memories.
on. Time moves on. Have an option to print it at home or get it sent straight to your mobile device. That's what I would say.
So
my 101 is paper tickets.
And Michael's doing my arguing for me. This is brilliant. So you need to be able to make that work. You need infrastructure, so which costs money. And even when you do put that infrastructure in place, I was at Wembley for some of the Euros games. They were a bit carnage, to be honest. But there you go. So well, I'm not going to argue. I will. There's stick in the comments what you think about Seb's view there. I can see the annoyance of the logistics, more the fact that there have been a lot of issues this week with people getting tickets to be able to go tomorrow, isn't there? And even last week as well. So I can understand ticket angst. Get it on the app, much better. But then you know the trees. I like turning trees into keepsakes and all that kind of stuff. Anyway, let's move on. So my gambit for this week is I'm going to humbly submit footballers who appeal stupid decisions when clearly it's not going to go for them. They are either just doing it out of dumb instinct or doing it to con the referee, i.e. I've just kicked the ball off and I'm going to appeal for a goal kick when it's 100% a corner. Do you know what I mean? That kind of stuff about just pointless appeals, the throw in, referee's right in front of you. Referee can see who it's gone off. The linesman can see who it's gone off. 30,000 people can see who it's gone off. But the opposition player is always going to put their hand up and go, my ball. It's either, as Stubbsy's saying, it's cheating, plain and simple, or it's stupid. And either way, I've had enough of it. It's going in room 101. That's it. So that's it. Mic drop. Wait, what say you to that?
I agree. It's frustrating and it's cheating, but you're never ever going to get rid of that. You're never ever going to get rid of that from football. It's everybody does it, and the crowd, but we do it as a crowd. How many times have we blatantly seen a corner, and we know it's not as well. We're as guilty as the players of doing it. Let's be honest. We've seen challenges in the box that if it was the other way around, we'd be screaming bloody murder. But we scream penalty because it's it's against one of our players. We are as guilty as the players is doing that, I think.
Michael's remembered well. I thought it was you, Michael. I was going to give you credit, so thank you for chipping in. This was Michael's one. So if I lose, I'm going to blame you, Michael. No, I'm not. I've just presented it really poorly. So feel free to chip in any additional thoughts on that one.
It's only cheating when the opposition does it. Brilliant. Yeah,
with that, David. Yeah. So you're all really intelligent, good-looking people. You know that I'm talking the truth.
Don't fall for his tricks.
This is how elections work, man. This is just election fraud right here. So what we need to do to make this work is we need to come up with either a word or an emoji, hopefully family friendly, so you can plop it in the comments and let us know. I mean, we could do just Rich and Seb.
Yeah, I was going to say that. Isn't that easier?
We could just do that. So any last appeals, Seb, either desperate emotional blackmail or facts that you've
all of you that if any of you have been sat for the last 2 weeks waiting for your season ticket, waiting for your tickets to arrive through the post, and you shared that frustration, am I going to get to go to the game? I better get on Twitter and tweet ITFC tickets. This one's for you. I feel your frustration.
Yeah, so to Skip's point, evening to Skip, who's made some excellent contributions, some very smart. Are you supporting me, Skip? I should read this version.
He's gone power mad on his hosting duties.
I've lost all control. Do you know what I mean?
Where's Mikey? Can we get Mikey back for next week?
Yeah. Here's John from Biggerish. What I'm talking about, I'm not penalties and that kind of stuff. I'm expecting that, and as fans, we'd appeal for that. If someone goes falling over in the penalty area, I'm not looking to put that kind of shouting and appealing, and it is when the ball has hit them they are 2 yards from the touchline and they stick their hand up and go, "That's my throw." Eric. Eric, there you go. I think you're being polite, Eric. I think we've both done a really crap one this week. But so
I'm also recovering from COVID, but don't let that influence your vote. You know, I've tried all week to muster the strength to come on here and give my football room 101 opinions, but you know, don't let that influence your decision.
Okay, so if you've got sympathy for Seb and paper tickets, I want to see Seb. If you're clever, intelligent, attractive, then no, put Rich. So let's go for it.
You're going to win. Look, we've got a draw. I've got one there from Jack. Thank you, Jack. You're just going to highlight your ones, aren't you?
I'm just not seeing it. I don't know where they are.
Jack Byram, above Anthony.
Oh, there it is. There it is. Yeah. Hi, Jack. Evening to you, Jack. Anthony, there you go. Seb, we need a few more of these. Cornish going for Seb. Charlie D, there we go. I think
this could be a draw. Yeah. Are you going to put it on Twitter as well, or just are we taking a sample from tonight?
Let's yeah. Can I remember? I can't remember how to do Trump. I've forgotten about him. It's so good. There we go. Oh, hello, league and proper season. Hello, Neil. Oh, interested to hear about that. Yeah, I think this. I don't know.
My namesake gone against me.
You can't even get the Seb.
I can't even get the vote off
Michael.
The guy with the same
Michael,
name.
I'd be really insulted with Michael if you voted the other way. I think what we'd say is this is like 1-0 me half time.
Agreed.
But we'll put it on Twitter and
it'll finish 2-0 you.
There you go, draw. You call it. There we go. Yeah, I need to get my this is turned. This was supposed to be a really innocent, like nice little, funny little thing to end the show with, but I've turned it into something totally different. Reading have ditched programs, really?
Yeah, saw that. Yeah. They cited the cost and the time it takes, and just the lack of interest in them.
Seabass, not a Seb. There you go. That sorts out. Yeah, I mean, you can't see it. I need to sort my lighting out because we start in the daylight now. And
it gets dark, doesn't it?
It's getting dark now. It gets darker and darker. You can't see that there's a Euros program there, just there, and there are.
Oh yeah, programs, no issue. I would never get rid of.
Oh
programs.
yeah,
I've got folders upstairs full of.
Just to David's point, there was a point where, and I don't know whether they still do it. The Cole U program was free. They figured out a way to get the cost of the program sorted out as part of the, and it was full of adverts. You know, it wasn't the best program, but you walked into the ground and they just give you a program. I thought that was amazing because if you go to Port Road, you have to queue forever to get a program.
They normally run out as well, don't they?
We'll talk about programs another time. So that is your lot on Football Room 101. So I think we'll go 1-0 me half time.
That's a great comment from John Ipswich. Seb is like the UK in Eurovision.
There we go. Nil point.
I'll be sat here for the last game of the season still with nil point.
It's going to start, yeah. Wow, this has gone political. I didn't mean it to do that. We need to divert, abandon pod. Let's put the intro back up again. What I'll do is, out of courtesy to you, Seb, I'll put the unedited one so it's not got my 1-0 scoreline. And frankly, it should say 2-0, but I'm being polite. So let's enjoy some chavvy music on a Friday night, which is how we're supposed to be living.
That's great. That's like being 17 again in Ipswich, going around the Royal Mail sorting office in my Citroen AX with my subwoofer and my speakers blaring at full blast.
Because we on these shows we don't. I mean, the show's gone totally off the tracks, but I'm loving it anyway. So I'm going to go with it. People don't really know who we are, do we? So Seb and I have known each other for about 20 odd years or whatever it is. Seb used to have a Citroen AX, little boxy little Citroen. Tell him what was in the boot.
It was a subwoofer that did look like a nuclear weapon. It was like
did.
From Halford. It looked like something you'd see in an action film with Arnold Schwarzenegger trying to defuse. It took up the whole boot, so I couldn't fit anything else in the boot. And if you've seen the Ali G film where he goes around the estate in the Renault Clio thinking he's cool, that was basically us in 2002/3.
Yep. It had 4 gears, that car as well, didn't it?
Yeah.
You used to rag it down the A14. So we were both in university in the Midlands, and every now and then Seb would give me a lift back and couldn't put the bags in the boot.
No.
And what were you listening on your stereo as well? So the subwoofer in the boot, it wasn't like cool music. It was
No, it wasn't
It's
cool.
movie soundtracks.
Yeah, Baywatch theme tunes and stuff, because
Top Gun.
that's
soundtrack.
how we rolled.
That's too much insight. I need to. I'm going to stop it there. I'm going to end it there on a high. We'll end on a high. Thank you so much, everyone, for your contributions. I hope you enjoyed this. Please ping us a tweet and let us know whether you enjoyed this and whether there's anything we can do to improve it. Always trying to. This is obviously a new show for us. Trying to make it as interactive as possible. Trying to do as many live as possible, but I think probably next week not going to be as.
That's my fault. Yeah,
so.
I'm travelling back to Ipswich for the MK Dons game on the Friday night. So the D's, yeah. I'm travelling back on the Friday night. So the chances are it will have to be a Thursday pre-record, but obviously we'll do our best to try and make it more up to date than last week's was.
Yeah. So maybe we'll tweak the agenda to not be so newsy. And whatever we do,
more football.
Yeah, we can talk about football, less soundtracks and chaving it around. Thank you, Skip, for watching. Charlie, thank you so much. Thank you to all of you who obviously provided did the super chats earlier as well. Thank you so much for that. Thank you to Gary. Michael, sorry for nicking your one-on-one. I did see the one that you did before, so we'll compare notes before I present next week. Here we go. Ipswich US. Ref should definitely make the right discussion when it's free. Yeah, agreed. Stubbsy, thanks for the chat and something, guys. Enjoy the game. Yeah, big one. Obviously, there's football tomorrow, and we've done our predictions for that. So if you're traveling down to Burton, I don't think we're not. I've got other things going, and Seb's too far. But you're going to Cheltenham, and I'm
doing Cheltenham. Yeah, Cheltenham's actually further away than Burton, but Burton came a bit too soon. So I'm doing Cheltenham. Then I'm finally going back for my first game since Boxing Day 2019 for MK Dons next week.
And thanks, John. Barmy Army, come on, you Blues. Mark, loving the live streams. Appreciate it. Thank you, Mark. We do our best. And up to Burton, get there. Well, Seb's down, isn't it? Seb's up north. So yeah. Well, I'm going to leave you to think about your parting goodbye, which obviously needs to involve "Come on, you Blues" or something along those lines. Auntie's going to see you at Cheltenham. There you go.
Look forward to it.
Dave, thank you. David, sorry, Dave. Well, David, very familiar. Flagship back on Sunday. As I said, should be Joe and Dave, who are both going to Burton, so do keep a lookout for them. And I don't think I've got anything else to plug, apart from we need to keep an eye on the Fantasy Premier League, Seb. We'll do that next week, first round of the Premier League.
I made the classic mistake. I settled on my team about when it first came out, probably a month ago now, and I was all good, and I've changed it 4 times in the last 2 days. And thankfully, I put Lukaku in last night as well. And thankfully, about 2 minutes before the deadline, I logged on just to check it and noticed that he hadn't had a international clearance. I managed to change him. So not off to a good start.
Thank you, Cornish Mariner. Cheers, John. Uffy. Brentford 1-up. There you go. Real-time score lines. That's what we want. So we'll do any news on the baby. Yeah, Michael, thank you for that. There is. I think what we'd like to do is let Ben give his news. But there is news, and it's and everyone is doing well. So more details from Ben, probably direct when we can. And I'm sure the baby might have their own YouTube channel at some point as well, so you'll be able to see them too. That's what you get growing up in a superstar family like them. Yeah, come on, you Blues. We'll end on that on the comments. Thank you, everyone, once again for joining us. Really enjoyed that this side. I hope you did as well. And we'll leave everything in Seb's capable hands to close us out.
Thank you, guys. Thank you for all the super chats, and enjoy going to Burton tomorrow. Come on, you Blues.